Hello everyone and welcome. Today's topic is about conditions and loops. We will cover the syntax and how they work. First, we have the conditions, which are used to guide the flow of the execution in our code. The program will evaluate the expressions inside these conditions, and based on these evaluations, the code will choose a path to follow. Means that the code will follow a certain block to execute. For the first and the most famous type in conditions is the if-else statement. The syntax of this statement is simply if, then we have our expression here, and then a colon. This expression inside should be of type boolean, means that when we write this expression, it should evaluate to true or false, and based on this result, the code will decide if we should follow this path or another path. Let's declare an expression, for example, 5 is bigger than 2, and then if expression. What this means is if 5 is bigger than 2, if this is true, then execute this block. Let's print 5 is bigger than 2 and let's execute. As we see in the result, 5 is bigger than 2 means that this block got executed, and because this expression is true. If we change this to a false expression, and this in this case 2 is not bigger than 5, we will get nothing. As we can see here, nothing is displayed. And for the case when the if is evaluated as false, we could introduce another keyword, which is the else. This means that if this block is evaluated as false, then run the else statement. And for this example, 2 is not bigger than 5. As you can see here, 2 is not bigger than 5, and this means that this block got executed. Also, we could put our condition directly here without having a variable that holds our expression, and we will get the same result. So for the identity, it will return true if two variables are the same object. Let's say var1 is an integer 8 and var2 is also 8. Let's use the identity operator inside an if statement. So if var1 is var2, we will print the two variables are identical, else print not identical. As we can see here, the two variables are identical, which is true because variable 1 and variable 2 holds the same value. But if we used a list here, will be stored in variable 1, and this will be object 1. If we use another list inside another variable, this will be treated as an object 2, another object. So logically, first object and second object are not the same. This will be evaluated as false. As you can see here, not identical, because collection data types like list or sets are objects, and an object is not identical to another object if we have the same variable inside. For the inclusion operator, we use it to verify if an element or if a variable is included inside another collection like lists or sets or dictionaries, etc. We will be using also an if statement here. We have already variable 1 is a list that contains the element 8. We will add another element 10 and 7, and we will verify if 7 exists in this list using an if statement 7, and the main keyword for inclusion operator is in. So if 7 is included in the variable 1, which is a list here, this code will be executed. Else not included. Let's print our result. As we can see here, 7 is included. And we could also have the inverse of this statement using the not in. So if 7 not in this list variable 1, we will execute this code, and 7 is included in variable 1, so this else statement will be executed. For the second type of conditions, we have the match case, and widely known as switch case in other programming languages like C or C++. This match case works with evaluating a certain pattern based on a variable. Let's for example have variable 1 and we have match var1. here we have the case keyword, and in this example we will match if this variable is 5, then do this block. For the case if this number, for example, is 10, then print the number is 10. And we have also the default case, meaning if these two cases are false, then simply go to the default case and print didn't recognize this variable. As we can see here, the number is 5, so this block of the case 5 got executed. We could also have a lot of complex expressions inside this case keyword. For example, let's verify if a number is positive using the if statement. So in this case 5 and if, and this will be executed if variable 1 is bigger than 0, is positive. So we will print variable 1 bigger than 0 and match 5. So for this case, if our variable 1 is 5 and positive, we will execute this block. If our variable 1 is 0 and it's positive, so we will be executing this code. This won't be executed, this will be evaluated as false, but this will be evaluated as true. As you can see here, variable 1 is positive and match 5. If we change variable 1 with 0, here both these two conditions will be evaluated as false, because 0, obviously 0 is not bigger than 0. So we will fall to the default expression and this block will be executed. As you can see here, didn't recognize this variable. For the second part of our video, we have loops, which are used when the programmer needs to repeat a certain task or the execution of a certain block till we have here two distinct conditions: till it reach a certain counter, meaning our execution reach a certain threshold, or till we verify a certain condition. Simply, it's a repetition of a block of code n times. This n variable is set explicitly by the programmer or implicitly by verifying this condition. For loops are used to go over a certain iterable. This iterable could be one of the collections like lists, dictionaries, etc., and also could be a range of numbers. First we have the for keyword, and here we specify our retrieved number or retrieved variable, and the most famous retrieved variable is I, and we have in, and here we specify our iterable like range. What this means: for I in range 10, this range 10 function will give us a list starting from 0 till the number 9, like 10 elements, and the number 10 is not included, and this print block will be executed 10 times, and this I variable will hold the values inside this range function or this list. So let's print our result 0, 1, 2 till 9, which are the elements inside this range function or this. Another iterable could be a string. Let's have, for example, here my name, and let's print I. In this case of a string will be treated also as a list, and each element will be a character. For example, here we have A, B, D, etc. till we reach K. As you can see here, A, B, D till we reach K. Also, for example, have a dictionary, and we will retrieve the keys and the values of this dictionary. Note that I covered dictionaries in a previous video about collection data types that you could check in my Python Basics playlist. And to iterate over this dictionary keys and values, we will have to use two variables or two holders, key and I, in dictionary dot items. This method is specific to the dictionary type. It will retrieve our keys and values as a tuple. Let's comment our code above and let's run our program. For loop give us our first key and our third key and the value. While loops will execute a certain block till a certain condition is met, and we have the while keyword, and here we have our condition. Then we have column, and here is let's have our I here first declared as 0. We will increment this I, we will print it, and we will check if I is less than 10. We will execute this block. Our stop will be the invert of this condition here. Let's execute our code. As you can see here, run 1 till run 10. Why this run 10 is printed? Because when this I reaches the number 9 here, 9 is less than 10, so this condition is true. We have here 9 plus 1, this will be 10. We will print run 10, and then this I will hold the value 10, and now the condition will be 10 less than 10, which is evaluated as false, and we will stop our while loop. We could also use the break keyword to stop a while loop from executing a certain block. For example, let's break using the if statement. If this I is equal to 5, we will break. This means that while I is less than 10, we will increment this value and we will check if I equals to 5, we will break. If not, else we will print this value. And this will be run 4 times. Because first we have 0 here, 0 plus 1, this I will be 1. We will print our first run, then we will print our second, third, and fourth. In the case of our fifth run, when I here is 5, this expression will be true and we will break from this while loop. As I said here, run 1, run 2, run 3, and run 4. And of course run 5 won't be printed. And that's it. See you in the next video.